Hey Leisurebabez, how you guys doing? Welcome to Queens of Leisure. So excited to connect with you guys again. These are like my highlights. It's almost like I can compare this to like a journal entry, like a diary entry, like Dear Diary, but I'm simply doing it on camera. Hope everybody's well. Today's topic is a bit sensitive. I am not trying to have this to become controversial or anything. Ooh, I'm glowing, glistening actually in the sun. However, I think it's worth having, just sharing my thoughts, all right? And as one who tend to go to the far left, I tend to not have balance on certain things, especially on things that I am extremely passionate about. Perhaps it's my conservative views or my Christian views that attribute to that. Having this conversation with your help will create balance, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm open to correction. I'm not one who isn't open to suggestions. Having said that, let's jump into the video. I love men. I value men. I respect men. I believe men carry such an influence. Their presence carries such power. And I also believe that men carry the presence of God. There I say. Which is why I'm having this conversation. Here's my thoughts on masculinity. There's an agenda that the system, government, media, the enemy, urging men to be more feminine. I read a few months ago, it's an era that men are entering, which is the soft men era, the spicy men era. Listen, I'm not saying men are not supposed to show emotion, because we're human. Are you kidding me? When God created us, he created us with two polarities, is yin and yang. When you think of yin is soft and is delicate. Yin is pretty, yeah, and yang is much harder. The contrast, you see what I mean? So, not saying men are not supposed to show their emotion, how they show it and when they show it. Now I have my opinion about that. I do. Men can show emotion. They can be sensitive. But when it's taken like overboard, the overly reaction and emotion, I think, and men being like all prissy and feminine, I don't know, guys. I'm not for that. I'm a feminine woman, and with a feminine woman, naturally, when a man is more feminine or have feminine tendencies, for any woman who are feminine in nature, you know exactly what I mean. That's going to turn you off. You're not attracted to that. Correct me if I'm wrong, because those two energies cannot, at least in a relationship, they can't coexist in the same space, because one has to be more masculine, one has to be more feminine. If your man is being a bit feminine, you have no choice. Energetically, you're going to find yourself in the role of being the masculine, or vice versa. That's how it is, period. Going back to what I was saying about the agenda, I feel like that agenda is being pushed so that it can destroy families. It can destroy relationships. What do you think? Share your thoughts. I'd like to hear. I'd like to know if I'm the only one who's been seeing this, who's been sensing it, and who's not for it. I'm not for it. I'm not for the soft male era, the spicy men, where men can just act like women and gossip and whine and complain. I feel like those are feminine qualities, characteristics, and not all women, forgive me, not all women are even like that. You know what I mean? So when a guy is more feminine in nature, it can clash. It can really clash. Men, step up. Here's what I think when I hear the word masculinity. I hear confidence. Of course, that confidence is from the maker, who created you, who created men. I hear leadership, a man who takes initiative. I hear a man who is emotionally grounded, as we were talking about, emotionally sound. Why? Because your lady looks up to you, man. And your kids. You don't want your kids to look at you and be confused when it comes to like, can we act like this? Act all out of control? You know what I mean? Your son look up to you. Your daughter looks up to you because she's going to select someone possibly with the same characteristics that you have, whether you believe it or not, subconsciously or consciously. So step up. Step up. You would want your daughter to be with men who can be there for them and who would take charge, right? So let's kind of clean that up a little. What else do I think about? Adjectives that comes to mind with the term masculinity. Planning, planner. Masculine men plan ahead. Why? Because they want to make sure that their loved ones are secure, that their loved ones are covered. They got you. Masculine men, I feel, are generous. Perhaps not all masculine men are generous. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think about all these adjectives. They're handy. They can build you a house. Hey, they're handy. They're able to fix things. I'm not saying that you're not masculine if you're not able to build a house or fix something, but I mean, it comes very handy, pun intended. If a man is handy, it's hot. What else comes to mind with masculinity? Terms that adjectives that comes to mind when I see or hear or think about the word masculine. A masculine man is highly attractive. Yes, freaking hot. Tell me, you didn't think what I just said was hot. A man who's emotionally grounded, who plans ahead, a man who is generous, a man who provides, a man who's confident, a man who's there, who just says he got it, who just helps to take the stress off, who's grounded, who builds things with his hands. I said that already, right? What else? A masculine man initiates. Ooh. All these things, guys. Anyway, I didn't want the video to be too long. I just wanted to share my thoughts because this is what I'm seeing around lately and I don't like it. Perhaps I'm not in the right decade. Perhaps I should have been in a different decade when men were like, I'm not saying men are not like that. However, I am seeing things that I'm not, I don't know. I'm worried for the generation that's coming, how it's going to look like. You know, like the saying that says, oh, they don't make them like that anymore. I wonder if we're going to get at a point one day where we're going to look back and ask, where are all the men? Where are all the men at? I wonder if we're going to just have a world that just have women. I pray to God that it doesn't come to that. I'm sure the world could probably run more efficiently if it does become like that. That's controversial. Let us not go into that. However, no, that's the lie of the enemy. We do need men, okay? We need men. Men, we need you. We love you. So we're not going to that side. We're not going to even go into that theory or that hypothesis. We're going to stick to the present. I hope it doesn't get to that. In order to prevent that, moms, fathers, cousins, brothers, sisters, I implore you all to take charge, to guard that, to, if you have kids, to start the work now. Anyway, I was just sharing my thoughts. That's all. Let me know what you think. What adjectives comes to mind when you hear the term masculine, masculinity, femininity? It's just all jumbled up nowadays. You can't set any of those apart now. The world wants to just the world just wants to combine them all. However, both were born, men and women, were born differently. Our characters are different. We operate differently. We feel differently. We see things differently. that is what I believe makes a union so beautiful. We can have our ups and downs, our disagreements. However, when I believe a man and a woman is able to come together in a healthy relationship with that is balanced, a relationship that is not just superficial or where the interests of one person is just met and the other one isn't met, and you know how it can get messy. I just believe when a relationship, when two people come together and you're in a relationship and it's healthy, where both parties are operating in they're operating in their essence, I feel that is such a beautiful freaking thing. What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment description below. Until next time, let's chat in another one.